Right then, folks, I need to turn that off. There we go. I'm going to turn off the mute the sound. Let's just double check over here. Yes, it's Thursday. It's almost half past. It's gone a little bit past. It's 6:30. We're live. We're going to carry on with the dreadnaught today, as we all know. I think I do need to check out some of the focus here, which I can get started on in just a second. Quick shout out to Reese, who is one of my lovely patrons, or more to the point, my patron at the moment. Her name going down at the bottom there. I don't think she's watching tonight, so we're without Reese tonight, but she gets a shout out anyway. And you also, if you want to become a Patreon follower, a Patreon person, you'll get a shout out during the show if you become during the show. So hi guys, I thought I'd let you actually know before we get started tonight. A few things happened. My Instagram feed and my Facebook feed has been a bit slow recently. It is the summer holidays, so things get a little bit slow. So you'll have to bear with me. Just keep watching me on all of my various social media, and you'll be able to catch up with what does happen. And if you want to show me anything tonight while we're live, use hashtag #BofOPSLive there, you see, and just tag me in any of the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can show me what you're working on, ask me questions. I'm here for the next couple of hours. We'll carry on working with this like we were last week, and we'll get on with that. Now, there is also, this guy will not take us terribly long to get done. So if you want to throw in some suggestions about what you want to do, what you want the next project to be, you can throw them into the chat while we're live. You can give me suggestions. For example, I have just had a message from my friendly local gaming store recently. I have the Renegade box set is ready for me to pick up, so I have some knights. I will have some knights knocking about, so I could do one of those. It will be, if I do a knight, it will be a Blood Angel themed knight. So, excuse me, I could do something like that. I also, actually that's something I will be doing actually when it arrives. I did have a War Games exclusive model. Now I don't know if anybody saw this. It's there. I've forgotten what they've actually called it. Some sort of knight thing, but essentially it's War Games exclusive version of a Mephiston model. And I'm going to start coughing again. So it's a Mephiston type model from War Games exclusive. When that arrives, the next show that I'll do, when that arrives, I won't even open it. I'll open it live for everybody to see, so you can see what War Games exclusive models are. And if it comes down to it, that's another thing that we could possibly do on the live shows. I'll paint that up as in, again, it will be Blood Angels themed, but it's a Mephiston from War Games exclusives that we could do on the show. The point is, any idea that you've got, any suggestions you've got, throw them in the comments, throw them in any sort of, tag me and all sorts of things, send me a message. We'll see what we can get done. Now, what I'll do is I will then shortlist all of those responses and all of those suggestions. I will put them in a short list of things that I can do. Do I have to go out and buy the model, for argument's sake? Can I afford to go out and buy it? And then my patrons will get to choose what the next actual what the next actual project will be from the short list of what the suggestions could be. Alright? So, get them in the comments. Open it live. A night would be awesome. Well, there we go. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. If we can, I've got that Mephiston. It will arrive, and I will open that live. Whether it's the next project that I do live, will be up for people to vote on the Patreon feed. But I will definitely open it live, and the live show that follows it arriving at my door. I won't even look at it. I will literally, you will literally see what my reaction to the model is when I open it, and I hope it's a good one, because it wasn't exactly cheap, and I have got to wait a while for it to get here. I think, if I remember rightly, War Games exclusives are, are they Polish? I think, is it a Polish company? I think that's what I'm going to have to wait for. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we'll get, and it will arrive at my door. I will then open it on the following Thursday show. So we will do that, and a night would be awesome, and I know that they're ready for me to pick up now. So I will have a night. Doesn't matter when this model gets finished. I will have a night available to build. The only problem I've got is that a lot of what I do, a lot of what I'm buying at the minute, and especially because it's for me, it's mostly Blood Angel themed, and I don't really want my channel to be a Blood Angel live show channel. I mean, this is a Death Company Dread. If I do a night, that will be a Death Company night, which would be awesome. You saw I got the Kill Team box. Yes, I did, and me and my son have enjoyed building that. All the terrain from that has been built. We actually had a couple of games together, actually, which was really cool. And I have, if you just bear with me half a second. There we are. Why don't I show you some of this? Do I bring it up there? Is that alright? Look at that. Hang on, let's bring it down here. You should be able to see that. We got a little bit of the terrain has been built, painted. Let's get that into a nice little shot. Shall we move that? There we go. A little tiny piece of the terrain has been painted. It's not 100% finished yet, but we're getting on with it. The terrain, the amount of terrain you get in that box is ridiculous. I mean, if I can digress a little bit, let me just bring up this camera. I know it's all a bit. You see behind the scenes now. You see the back of all the lighting rigs. Right, let's have a look. Right, and the duct tape. Well, packing tape. Right. So the amount of terrain that you get in the Kill Team box is ridiculous. Let me just bring this. Let me put the focus on. There we go. We have got, so essentially, if I remember rightly, what the guy in Games Workshop told me, that this is what you get in a ruins box. Can you see all that? There we go. That's just the ruins. That's not even the big buildings. If I can, oh hang on, I've put these in the way. Look at this. If I move that out of the way. Get that there, face that way. Oh wow. Okay. So that's the ruins, right? You can see the ruins there. Now, if you can possibly cast your eyes, let's move that out of the way. This blasted focus. Let's have a look at the focus. There we go. Right, put you in focus. You stay there. Right, stop it. Now, and if I can move out of the way. Yeah, it was easier the other way. In the spray booth at the back there is the other buildings. I'll quickly go grab them. Here they are. And look at this. Well, that's. Look, it's massive. The amount of terrain that you get in this on this board in that box is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I mean, if you can find a gaming store that's close by that gives you a discount, it's even cheaper. It's ridiculous, and we've tried playing it, and it is really easy to play and fairly simple if you just follow the rules. I mean, we haven't done any. I mean, my boy's only 8, so we haven't done any of the really complicated rules yet. About like falling off of terrain and various types of terrain. And anything very complicated, but yeah, I mean it's a really good game. It looks amazing, and something that somebody did say to me as well, that Kill Team seems to be one of those games that if you're kind of wanting to try you want to try out a new army, but don't want to kind of fully invest because you don't know how good it's going to be, Kill Team is the way to go, because you only have to pick up, you get a maximum of like 20 models. And that's it, and you don't play with any more than 20 models, so it's really great. So let me put all this back. Anyway, but yeah, Kill Team, I did get it. Keep an eye on that, because I won't be doing a lot of I won't be I'm showing it here, but I won't do a lot of sort of live stuff about it, and every so often there'll be pictures of things when it's finished making and painting. I'll post a picture up so you can watch that. You get a picture of all of the terrain once I've finished painting it. I'm trying some new things with the terrain when I'm painting, so that should look pretty good when it's done. But I'm also, I mean, the guy in Games Workshop said that all their new terrain stuff is designed to be ridiculously modular. So there should be all sorts of different terrain, and my pictures should start looking quite nice as well once I've done that. Right, let's get this back into place. Here we go. Right, let's get that under there. There we go. Right. Let's try and get ourselves back into some sort of semblance of order, shall we? After that, right. Shall we get on with the show tonight? Shall we get on with some stuff? Shall we get some things done? I'm trying to get the focus right. We got an issue here with the focus again. There's a bane of my existence. This is. I think this is a problem. Oh no, we don't want that, do we? We do need that on. We're just not quite so close. There we go. Alright, okay. Enough messing around. Shall we get on with some painting tonight? Here we go. Right, so let's get rid of that. Let's push that. There we go. Alright, so we're going on there. So don't forget, if you want to grab my attention, feel free to tag me in anything that you want to show me while we're working. If not, have a chat. If you're watching along, I'm here. It's just you and me at the minute, Tim, though, so it's just us. Reese has already messaged me earlier. She said she couldn't make it tonight. So, we'll just get on with this. If you've got any questions about what I'm doing, feel free to holler at me. But as it is, we're going to get on with this. Now, we're going to start tonight. We're going to start with doing some gold. And then we're going to get on with some whites as well. I want to get the golds done because that again is another messy thing to do. I need a bit of a dry brush, or some of it will, and some of it will get layered as well. So you get the gold on the model nice and early, and we'll need to wash it as well as usual, so that'll need to dry. So we might have to hop around the model a little bit, so you'll have to bear with me with that. So we got anything in anything on the oh, my fire alarm's going off now. Somebody's having a shower with the bathroom door open, and the steam sets the fire alarm off. So, are you working on anything tonight, Tim? I think you were working on orcs last week, weren't you? What am I doing? Gold, I'm using Retributor armor to start with. I will be Retributor armor. It will then get washed with Reikland Flesh Shade, and then dry brushed with Sigmarite. And then I might just touch it with a little bit of Necron compound. Liberator for me is a little bit too silver. There's too much silver in that for me, for my liking. Gold is one of those colours actually I really can't stand working with. It's I'm not a fan of gold. So I try and use it as little as possible. And then I went to then I decided to start a chapter that has entire units of gold armor, so that didn't really work out very well. but we're going to get that in there. And you're still messing around with orcs. That's cool. Orcs are designed for messing around with. I was hoping, I do have a squad of knobs that I painted, when did I paint them? At the end of last year? I was hoping that I got a squad of knobs here that I just built and painted, and I was quite chuffed with them. And then when Kill Team came out, I thought, oh, I might actually get to use them now. But no, I can't use them. Not in Kill Team. Or not all of them anyway. I think I can use one of them as a leader, but I can't use the whole lot. It was so hot that the paint dried out before I could paint it onto the model. Yes. Well, thankfully the weather has broken here in Blighty, and it's absolutely chucking it down now. So it's nice and cool. I haven't got to have a fan on. And ironically, actually, I think the weather at the minute is enough for me to think, oh, it's actually quite chilly. But I think that because it's been so cold, because it's been so hot recently, it's actually quite nice being cold for a change. So I'm all right with it. Now, here's something. If you can cast your mind back a week or so ago, I said I was doing the metallics, and I said I was going to leave these. And that's because right now I'm currently painting around them with the gold, you see. That's why I didn't paint them, because otherwise I'd have spent all that time painting those, only to have it all ruined by trying to put the gold on now, which is why they're not painted, and we'll do them again later. So I'm going to grab I don't bother with the gym myself. I haven't got the motivation to exercise. Unfortunately, it's one of the issues I have, is I can't do it for the sake of doing it, you know what I mean? Whatever I'm doing, there has to be a reason behind what I'm doing. Is my mate, he keeps asking me, oh, do you want to go for a walk? I was like, why? What do I go for a walk for? So I can't tend to do. I tried doing a gym once. It didn't take. Right. So what else have we got? Right. That was what I was going to try and do. I was going to try and do something clever with these. Well, I say clever. What I want to do, I wouldn't say it was clever, it's just fancy trying to do something different and picking out these claws, or at least the end of these claws, with gold. See, this is the thing, because this isn't a commission job, this is my model. I can kind of play around with things like that. You have to. It's better for you. Yeah, it's I mean, I do envy people who can go to a gym, to be honest, because you know, I could do with doing more exercise. And that is a really good gold colour. Yeah, it's just GW Retributor armour. I mean, if I was going to try and layer this rather than dry brush it, I'd probably end up it will probably end up getting layered with auric armor gold, but I'm not messing around trying to layer this. I'll just dry brush it in a minute. So, oops, where's the, there we go. Try and get the brush in between all the bits and pieces. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of gold as a colour, to be fair. I'm not a gold fan. But when I do use it, I like it to stand out. And I'm hoping having these gold, well, I suppose you could call them knuckles, on this, on here should make it stand out. It almost, actually the way I see it, it almost makes it stand out as a, I mean in the fluff, the Death Company, well, they're on the Executioner's block, but a Death Company dreadnaught is theoretically a bit more hard wearing. They don't just send a Death Company dreadnaught to its death. So I imagine, a bit of headcanon, that this thing has lasted quite some time, and as a result they've decided to adorn the thing with goldy bits and pieces. Normally I just do this stuff silver. I was thinking of painting some Stormcast and then Tau. You know what, I actually have a Stormcast model here as well. So it's another one of those things that we could put on the shortlist if people do get sick and tired of watching Blood Angel models. I don't do a lot of Age of Sigmar stuff. You don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it could be an idea. Maybe I'll put the Stormcast on the shortlist, and you can see how I do it. I don't like painting gold, but then having said that, if I grab one of these haven't hit Instagram yet, I don't think. But I've done some Custodes, and that was pretty quick. I mean, it was a base coat, it was a wash, and a dry brush, and they've come out okay. The picture hasn't hit Instagram, but pretty much how it is. And I've also in the process of doing some of these as well. So I mean, when they're done, they'll hit Instagram as well. So gold isn't a colour that's difficult to do, and I would say the same thing about yellow as well. Actually, a lot of people say yellow's difficult. Yellow's not difficult. It's just a case of getting your technique right and how much time you wanting to spend on it. If you're happy to spend hours and hours and hours painting it, then there is a right and a wrong way of doing it. If you want to do it reasonably quickly with a reasonably decent result, there's a way of doing that as well. But needless to say, gold is a case of doing a base coat. Oh, what you're saying is you don't know what to do at the moment. Right, see, I'm going off on a tangent talking about difficulty. To be honest with you, I don't tend to know what I want to do at the minute either. I've got quite a few different things on the go. Got some commission stuff that I need to get done. Getting the terrain done for the kill team. And a few other bits and pieces I've got on the go. And then I've got a Renegade night box set. Now even if I do one of the nights live on YouTube, I still have another night to do. Yeah, yellow was easy as well. Your orcs will get some yellow. Well, yellow is what was it for yellow? Orcs is does it make it stronger? Is that what yellow was? Yellow's bad moons, isn't it? Yellow, I know obviously red one makes it go faster. Blue is purple is for luck, isn't it? That was that one though. Purple's lucky. No, black is stronger, isn't it? Black is tougher. Can't remember what the yellow was for. I did figure it out. So when I did my orcs, I think there might be some pictures on Instagram if you're particularly interested in having a look. But I did look into it because I wanted to do different bits and pieces were different colours. I didn't have a tendency to want the orc to have all of so everything was one colour, because he wanted, you know, everything to be faster. I kind of did like, you know, the vehicle is red but his gun was black or something like that. I can't remember exactly how I did it. The idea was that different parts of their armour was needed to be for different colours for different results. I tried it once, it turned out I was bashing with an edge highlight. You were basing with an edge highlight colour. Oh wow. So you're wondering why it had to take so many thin coats. How many coats of this stuff did you need? Oh dear, that was terrible. See, even with yellow, I found a quick way of doing it. Is I based it, I dry brushed it and washed it, and that was it. Done. Looked perfectly fine. And again, you'll see those particular orcs that I did. I did that for some orcs, and they were sort of Bad Moon type orcs. You can see them on the Facebook page. Literally, that's all I did. As I base coated it, I then dry brushed it for a highlight, and then washed it to tie it together. That was it. That's all it needed. I mean, if you really want to be spending hours and hours and hours doing it. 10 layers. Why isn't this paint going on properly? It's transparent paint. Wow. That's rough, that was. Right. Tell you what, this gold is taking longer to base than I thought it was going to be. Actually, I thought I'd have this done by now and I start on the wings. Because that's the other thing I need to get done fairly soon, is I want to get the wings done. Trouble is, I'm trying to paint this with a microphone in the way. So I'm making terrible mistakes that I wouldn't normally make. If you notice this week, I haven't actually took the arms off of the dreadnaught. If they do start getting in the way, I will do it. I just glue them on each week just to keep them together and keep them out of the way. I mean, if I can get away with not gluing them, not taking them off, I will. Yeah, I wasn't happening, but hey, you're only a noob once. Yeah, I won't tell you how long I've been painting for. I feel really bad when I tell people, actually. Although then it sounds like I'm being really big-headed about it as well. Right, we get this gold finished. Come on, let's get this done. I know that GW like putting bones on their models, but man, this thing is covered in piles of the stuff. It's gonna be a nightmare to paint those. Piles of bones. Do tell, shall I tell her? The first time I ever picked up a miniature to paint was in March in 2016. I've literally only been painting for a little over 2 years. Or actually, to be fair, no. Since I've actually only been painting since April 2016. The first time I ever picked up a miniature was in March, because I went to find the local club, and they let me try out a game. Lovely blokes they were. I was full of a bit of anxiety going in there. I didn't even own any models. I just walked in there. I said, can you show me what the game's all about, and how do you play it, and what do I need to play it? They showed me, and then a month later I picked up some models. Well, actually, more to the point, I walked home and I ordered the models, and then they arrived shortly after. But yeah, I've been painting since April in 2016. I mean, admittedly, I do say it makes me sound like I've, painting to the standard I am. I like to think that, yeah, exactly, that I've been painting. It does look like I've been painting for 10 years, doesn't it? I mean, admittedly, unlike most people, my painting career didn't start in my teens. So I suppose I did have that going for me, as when it comes to progression. I wasn't, the first time I picked up a model, I wasn't painting it with my fingers. But, it was the very first time I picked up a miniature was in April. And then 2 years later I'm here on YouTube thinking that, I do alright, didn't I? You wanted to build something. What, you want to do that now, or that's why you that's what you got into the hobby? Right. Have I done it? Have I finally finished the gold? Ah, that's interesting, yeah. What started me in the hobby in the first place was, I was I was a house husband, just staying there, sitting around in the house, just getting really depressed, getting bored. I didn't have anything to do. And, I live in England. I mean, everybody has heard of Games Workshop, or know of the Games Workshop shop that you probably, most people in this country, every time they go into town they walk past the store, so they know of it and they know roughly what it is. So I decided that I wanted to have a look at it. Now, ironically, I just started. First time I looked online, I was looking at the fantasy line. If you think about it, this was back in 2015, I think I was looking at them. And I was thinking about getting some Chaos Warriors, and I kind of stopped looking for a while because the price kind of put me off. And then a year later, I was just like, yeah, I need to do a hobby. I need to find something to do. And then started to look at the Warhammer Fantasy again, and it disappeared. And then there was just this thing called Age of Sigmar, which I had absolutely no idea what that was. So then I was kind of stuck. I almost gave it up then, actually. I almost didn't bother looking anymore. I couldn't find what I was going to buy, so I won't bother. But then I just decided, well, I'll have a look at this 40k thing. What's this Warhammer 40,000 thing on the website? And I saw the red dudes, and I thought, wow, I like red. And, well, the rest is, as they say, is history. Very much so. Right, there we go. So after that reminiscing, I managed to do the gold. Whoop! Oh, that was hard. Right. Now hopefully what I'm going to be able to do is that if I wash that gold now, which I'll wash with flesh shade, right. Oh, actually, shall I show you my superpower? Oh, once I've grabbed it. Here we go. I have a superpower. I'd like to show off my superpower because it doesn't seem like anybody else has got it. Well, you see that? Look at that. I mean, there's some ball bearings in there, but I emptied a bottle of shade, and all of it ended up on a model, not on my desk. So I just thought I'd show off my superpower there. I think that's the 4th bottle. I've managed to empty it and used it all. I think that's a Golden Demon winning trophy right there, waiting to happen, isn't it? Oh, hiya, Reese. Just in time for me to show off my superpower. Look at that. You up to much, Reese? It's the best superpower. It is the best superpower, isn't it? I'm happy about that. And the other part of my superpower is I can use a pot without having to put blue tack around it to keep it in one place. I have this amazing ability to dip my paintbrush and wipe it off without knocking the paint pot over. It's a bit really cattish of me there, really, isn't it? Sick and tired of seeing spilt paint pot pictures. Well, one thing to say to all those sorts of people: look at what you're doing. Watch what you're doing and don't flap your arms around. Alright, catch you later, Reese. Right, so I hope I'm getting this wash on the model right. Like I said, doing these live shows, I'm kind of fighting around what I'm normally fighting around. I'm usually with the model right up to my face, looking at what I'm doing. But with these shows, the model's about 3 times as far away from my face as what it usually is. So hopefully it'll look alright. Once we're done, once I've finished tidying it up, once I've finished everything, it'll look a bit of a mess, and then all of a sudden I'll finish it off and it'll all come together. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that though, actually, because oh, I missed a bit of gold. Huh. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to film that last bit. Once I've finished painting it, kind of getting a good shot of it while I'm filming live is going to be quite difficult. So we're just going to have to play that one by ear, I think. But then once I know how I do it with this one, and then I'll probably be able to do it with subsequent models in the future easy enough. So any suggestions, pop them on a postcard or into the comments, you know, whichever's easiest. It's a very British joke that is, actually. Right, so that looks like the gold is washed, so we'll leave that to dry, and hopefully by the time I'm finished with the next thing we could get started on dry brushing. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start painting the wings, which are all going to be white, and to do that we start with this colour when I get it out of the palette, which is well, it's a Vallejo heavy grey. In GW speak, I believe it's Celestra grey. And so basically what we're going to do is we're just going to build up the colours to white. So the first things first, we need to get a nice grey. It's a heavy grey, and I don't know if you noticed, I don't tend to need to do more than one coat at a time when I'm painting. I don't necessarily thin my paint down as much as some people would. Sorry, Duncan. But also because this particular colour, I mean it's one of the Vallejo extra opaque colours, which means it's actually pretty pigment heavy, so it doesn't really need as much paint to go down before it covers. Yeah, if you can find game, I love Vallejo's colours, and I can't remember if I've said it before, but the reason why I use Vallejo is that it's a paint company. It's not going to unless the entire company goes out of business. You're pretty much guaranteed that the colours you buy now are going to be the same colours that you'll be buying in 10 years time. You know, the recipes are going to be exactly the same because they have, you know, the IP on that particular recipe of that particular colour from that bottle, so they're not going to change it anytime soon. Whereas Games Workshop could change their paint supplier at the drop of a hat. I mean, the likelihood of it happening is slim, but you know, they've done it in the past and it could happen again. And if you have a look at any of the old Hammer guys that paint their models since, you know, since the early 80s, and they'll say, oh, I can't, you know, I love this particular colour and I can't get it anymore. And my entire army is based in it or something, you know. That's because they've got rid of the old colours. So I try not to use Games Workshop paints as a not as a rule, as a I try not to rely on them too heavily. I think that's what I'm trying to say. You know, I use Games Workshop paints as secondary colours and things, but I won't base my entire army on, you know, a specific shade from Games Workshop. For argument's sake, my Blood Angels are not based on Mephiston Red. They're based on Scarlet Red from Vallejo, and theoretically, if Games Workshop ever gets rid of Mephiston Red, or they ever change paint supplier who doesn't know how to make Mephiston Red, you know, I'm still going to be able to base my Blood Angels exactly the same way as I have done for the past 2 years, and for the future. And that's the theory anyway. Right, well, I got through the white quicker than I was expecting. Oh no, I didn't. the wings up the top here as well. Look at that. And speaking of red, you know what I've decided actually? This is remarkably undeath company. So what I need to do now, let's get some red on there. I need to wait for that white to dry. So let's get some red on this beast. Is the red still workable in my palette? It is. Wow, that's been there for well over a week. Right, so what we're going to do is grab some red on here. Right, this is going to be fun. Right, what do I want to do? I'll paint that red. I'll leave that silver if I can. Come around here. Let's start getting some red on here to... Now, funnily enough, Death Company Dreadnoughts, for some reason, Games Workshop have painted the weapons black. And one thing I noticed, the Death Company weapons, as in the guys, are red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to emulate that and transfer that across to this Dreadnought. And transfer that. So put the red on this weapon, or more to the point, the casing, I think is, yeah. Try and keep that silver in there. I did catch, see, because it's so far away, I'm catching the red all over the place. I'll come back and tidy that up. What I might have to do is off camera at some point is just come around this thing while I'm not live, and I might just have to tidy up some of the colours, just because otherwise they'll stand out once we're finished. Probably would have been easier if I just took the arms off, but I'll try and avoid doing that every week. Come around the back here. Get that is red as well. Yeah, I think that'll be alright, and we'll just grab the top of that. Yeah, there we go. Right. Now the flamer, I think I am actually going to leave it as that. Am I going to leave it as that? Ooh. No, let's get some of red on there as well, shall we? Just a little bit. Let's get that on there, like so. Just had a message come through. Let me see what that is. Ah, this is my local gaming store. That's fine. Telling me, come pick up my models and build them. I'll get there eventually. Right. So we got some red on there. Oh, I caught that, but that's fine. That'll be brass, so that's not a problem. Yeah, right. Okay, let's get that red as well. Just to change that up, like so. Get around the back there. But let's do the important bit. Let's get some crosses on this bad boy, shall we? So we're going to freehand these, and so we're going to go nice and slow. Yeah, start by just putting a very thin line across here. Kind of decide on the angle in which it's going to go. So you can see I can kind of do it nice and slowly. I can kind of change my mind halfway through if I need to, like so. And I can grab some more paint and come from the other way and kind of go there. I want to go from there. Could transfer that through, kind of heading towards this corner here. Oh, a bit wonky. That's fine. So we can fill that in. Like so. Something like that. There we go. Let's carry that one through to there. There we go. Carry that through. Kind of bent as it went round, so we need to thicken that up a bit. Oh, there we go. Right. And then all we need to do is just tidy that up. Some more paint. Then we just want to spend some time just getting that angle, get the angle right, getting the line straight. As long as the paint is thin enough, we'll be alright. So we can thicken that up a little bit. There we go, that'll do. Yeah, that'll be alright. See if we can mirror that. No, it's getting a bit thin. The black area is getting a bit thin, so this side it'll thicken up this way, like so. There we go. It's getting there, isn't it? Look at that. Starting to look, you know, that simple red cross turns this from being just a dreadnought that I'm painting specific colours to actually having some meaning. So we'll do that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. No, I don't think so. I think I'll actually put a white thing on that side, which is fine. But I've got an idea that I want to do for the wings, and we'll see how that turns out when we get there, I think. Yeah. So we're just going to leave that as it is. That's some brush marks in there, which, yeah, Reese wouldn't get brush marks because she used flow improver. I got terrible brush marks in that, but that's fine. I'm not too fussed about that. That's good enough for me. Right. Okay, dokie. Now, the Celestial Grey should have dried by now, so what I can do is I can grab my black wash. Thank you very much, Underdog. It's looking pretty good. I'm probably quite happy with it. It's coming along nicely. Like I said, what I might do is while I'm off cameras, I might just go around and just picking up anything that's not quite to my liking, that I can't quite see with a microphone in the way. But on the whole, it's coming together, and I'm hoping that once the whole thing's finished, it won't at a glance look like a Chaplain dreadnought from Forge World, and that at a glance it will be recognised as a Death Company dreadnought. That way I won't have all sorts of awkward conversations when people are asking me why I'm bringing the Forge World model to a tabletop, when quite clearly it's a Death Company dreadnought and not a Chaplain dreadnought. But we'll see. Right. Just popping a bit of the old known oil on all of the whites, or more to the point the grey for the time being. And you know what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to wash the weapons with black as well, because a quick dry brush of red will make them pop without really worrying too much about spending too long highlighting those. I think by now you've noticed that this is going to be a tabletop model. This isn't exactly going to be, you know, a painting competition standard paint job. I think if I was trying to do anything of I'm not going to try and do any of this stuff for a competition. I think it would be boring, you trying to watch me edge highlight all sorts. That's half the battle, liking what you do and not to please other people. You know what, that's what I always do. You know what, I mean, even the commission work, you know what I've said to people? I've had people asking me, you know, whether my commissions come in tiers, you know, top tier, middle tier, bottom tier. And you know what I've told people? I said, look at my models, look at my painting. If you like it, I'll paint something for you. And if you don't, then find somebody else to do it. I paint because I enjoy it. And trying to match other people's likings and everything, it just doesn't become fun anymore. So yeah, that is half the battle, and I think I've won that half. I wanted to paint a dev company, but in Primaris Marines. I was wondering, do normal marine arms fit the scale? Now, that's an interesting one. Because I think it's more to do with, I think, the marine arms, the Primaris Marines are chunky. However, I mean, if you have a look at my which one is it? There, let's have a gander. Let's see if I can find you the link for the actual picture that I'm talking about. But the Captain Slamguinius model that I did for my recent Blood Angels commission. It's not quite the way around that you mention it, as in Primaris, regular arms fitting Primaris. It's kind of the other way around. I put a Primaris arm, which is the Thunderhammer arm, onto here it is. This is the one. I said it's really bad form, me trying to point people away from my stream while I'm on, but that's a link to the Captain Slam that I just did, and if you have a look at his Thunderhammer arm, that is a Primaris arm. It doesn't look too out of scale, however it is chunky. Off the top of my head, I'm not really sure where they've got the extra height from in the Primaris Marines, because they do almost seem interchangeable, but then they're bigger, so it does kind of fit. But then what you could do is, if you're wanting to put Death Company arms onto Primaris, pretty much, unless of course you're really stuck on the idea of the ropes that they've got attached to their limbs, you could just chop off quite easily. You just chop off regular marine weapons, because you got those crosses, haven't you, on the Death Company weapons. You could just chop the arms off, chop the hands off, and then stick them to a Primaris Marine arm. And the shoulder pads are fine. They fit. Shoulder pads and heads, they all fit with the Primaris Marines. I hope that answers the question, or have I just been waffling for 5 minutes to no end, really? And while I wait for the lag, I'll dry brush some gold. So we're just going to use Sigmarite. Simple as this. I've done Reichland Fresh Shade base. No. Retribute Rama base. Reichland Fresh Shade wash. And then I'm literally... Oh, it would help if I had some tissue paper to hand. Bit of blue roll. That's what I've got available. It does answer it perfectly. Well, good. I'm glad it does. Primaris Def Company. Obviously, fluff-wise it doesn't work, but I think they would look pretty badass, to be fair. They would look awesome. Yeah. So here we go. So we're just going to chuck on some Sigmarite onto the gold here. Doing my best not to catch the grey nearby, because that would kind of mess up a little bit what I'm trying to do here. I haven't got time to stand here waiting for wash to dry before moving on to the other colour. So whoops, there it goes. That's snapped off, so that'll be fine. We'll just take that off. There we go. I'll glue that back on at the end of the show. What is the time in a minute? 7:30. Well, a good half an hour left to go before we give this a wrap, but we'll see how far we get along. We're coming along quite nicely. We're just going to touch the... we're just touching all the gold with this dry brush. Now, it's not a crazy dry brush because, to be fair, the gold isn't exactly that prominent. All we want to do is just take the edge off of the shade, really, and just give it a little bit of a shine back. So it's not even like a true dry brush, we're just touching the edges, which is true dry brush to an extent, but we're just giving the gold its shine back, and that's pretty much all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a crazy highlight or anything. There we go, that'll do. The funny thing is, once we're done this, I'll end up dry brushing the whole thing in me sandy colours, and all the shine will get knocked back anyway. So there we go, that'll do. Flesh terror in Primaris. Yeah, that just. I think that just takes the fluff book and just that just tears it up, I reckon. Yes, Seth wasn't too happy about the Primaris Marines, was he? Right, okie dokie. What are we going to do now? We are going to see, that Known Oil really hasn't done a lot in the recess there, is it? On the wings, really hasn't done a lot. Hopefully that will be alright. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that up a step, and we're going to grab some Ghost Grey. I don't think that is Celestra Grey, is it? I don't know what colour it's supposed to be. I have got a comparison chart somewhere, but off the top of my head I can't remember where it is. But this is Vallejo Gold, Ghost Grey, and I think this is Celestra Grey. I know it's not Admin Grey, because I've actually got Admin Grey up there. Okay, dokie. So here we go. So the first bit of layering that I've done on this model, and we're doing it now. So what I want to do is I just want to pick out the wings, and this is going to take some time. So one at a time, we're just going to go in, pick out the wings, leaving the recesses. This probably will take some time. reasons why I don't like doing too much layering. Doing a big Primaris Dread in Death Company colours. That looks lovely. That would look awesome. But I did say at the top of the show as well, I do have a Renegade Knight set waiting for me to pick up. And on the shortlist of what my patrons are going to choose, what goes next on the live shows, there will be a Death Company themed Imperial Knight. So that is hopefully that is going to look awesome. Whether I do it on a live show or not is another matter. It's going to take some time. I need to. I don't do any spraying and airbrush work on. Oh, hello. Are we gone? Am I still live? If I'm still live, can somebody just give me a thumbs up or something? My video is unavailable here, but have we? You're still live. Excellent. Okay. There's going to be a okay. So I've lost the feed on my end, you see. So I'm going to have to watch on. Oh no, it's come back. There we go. All right. Oh, an heart attack there. I've forgotten where I was. I've forgotten what I was talking about then. There was a small glitch. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened. I've forgotten what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Layering? Really? That far back? I thought I was talking about a night, wasn't I? Didn't I go back to talking about the night? I remember what I was saying, but I don't know how much you heard. I was saying about my night, my Death Company night, being on the shortlist to be picked, wasn't I? For my patrons to choose what was going on next, and I did say I don't know how that will work, because much like this model, I don't do airbrushing. I won't be doing airbrushing on the live show, certainly not for the time being, because I haven't got enough cameras or the computer power or the ability to watch the show while I'm airbrushing. So if I did do a night, I'll end up doing the I'll have to do the night skeleton. I can build a night like I did with this, and then like the skeleton and the black on the carapace stuff will all be done away from camera, and then I'll come back and I'll pretty much do details. I don't know how interesting that would be. But it would, yeah, we'll see what happens. So after the glitch, who's still with us anyway? Obviously, Tim's still here. Is Underdog still here? Oh dear. So we're nearly finished with this grey here on the wings. Almost looks white as it is, and in fact, you know, it could pass as white under some lights. All of that is it just brings up the colour from the dark grey. We'll come back into this in a minute. Doing these tiny wings on the side, this is a nightmare. I have to get really close with these. You could do it by dry brushing, but with wings it just isn't the same. There we go. I'm guessing we lost Underdog, did we? That's a shame. I have absolutely no idea what happened. Just all of a sudden the feed just kicked out on YouTube, but my encoder was still running. There's nothing wrong with that end. So, let's get these wings done. There we are. Right. Yeah, we got the Mechanican logo on the back here. I can never remember which way round it is, whether white's on the left or the right. I'm just going to make it up as I go along. I'm going to say the white's on this side here. Make sure I do that one there. And then I'll just do the white on here as well. Which, you know, I don't do that particularly. I don't get too hung up on the Mechanicum logo there. And then we just got some wings on the side here. Loads of wings on the side. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep layering to a minimum, I think. at least if I'm doing layering, hopefully it'll be a bit more interesting. But wings just don't look right if you dry brush them. Well, especially when it comes to white wings anyway. They just look really chalky. I mean, you can get away with it if you're using black or any other colour. Whoops, but dry brushing with white just really doesn't work. Let's get in there. This is going completely wrong, this one. Paint's going all over the place on that one. So I think we'll get away with it. I think I've lost the point on the brush. It's not working. Yeah, we'll leave that. Oh, we're fine. You won't notice it there. It's gone a bit funky, but we'll leave that. Are you going to magnetise tonight? I'm not going to, no. The knights that I've bought, they're not going to get played with very much. It's more of a they're more display pieces than anything else. So I'm going to do out of the Renegade box, I'll do 2 of them, obviously. One of them is going to be Death Company, so it's going to have the big chainsword thing and the gauntlet to simulate chainsword and power fist. And then the other one is going to be Devastator inspired, so it's just going to have lots of big guns attached to it. There is a bit of head cannon that goes with it, that probably will be I'll probably talk about that as I'm doing them. But needless to say, they're 2 brothers that are the last of their knight household, so they attach themselves to the Blood Angels. Right, so where are we? What have we got left to do? It is now 5 to 8. I tell you what we're going to do. As the last thing tonight, we're going to tidy up the base here. We're just going to give that a bit of colour, just to tidy it up a little bit so it doesn't look all that horrible wash colour. If I can get some paint to come out of the pot. It is Zandri dust, or in my case Vallejo khaki. That's what was wrong. I was using the wrong brush. Haha, that's why I couldn't get the colours done right. So what we're going to do is the last thing to do tonight. We're going to throw some colour down on here. This is also the same colour I used for the bone, but I think we'll leave the bone and the highlight of the wings next week. So we'll get this coloured in. I'm not going to do the rim. Now there will be texture paint done on here, so I've got to be careful how I do this, because I I don't want to leave it to the point where the only thing I've got left to do on this for one show would be to throw down some texture paint and be done with it. Because otherwise that'll be a very boring show. I'll put the texture paint on and I've got nothing else to do until it crackles. So we'll be careful with that. We'll make sure we do that at the end of one show, so it's ready for the following show. Hopefully, I think there might be another 2 shows out of this. We have got the bone to do. We've got to finish off the wings. We've got gems to pick out, which wouldn't be too long. We've got a transfer to do. It'll only be the one, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah, there's not a huge amount left to do on this guy. Actually, he's going to come together quite nicely. There's 1, maybe 2 more shows out of this, and then we'll move on to the next one. And it does look like it's just you and me here tonight, Tim. So feel free to throw in your comments. But if anybody happens to watch this after it's gone live, feel free to send me a message with your ideas or tag me in some ideas of what you might want to see me do. And if I can do it, I can do it. But there we go. I think we'll leave that one there. Let's just pop. Get that there. We'll pop his arm back on there, which is definitely building up with a bit of super glue on there. Yeah, that'll need gluing back on. But there we go. I think that'll do for the night. There we go. He's coming along. We got some colour on there now. We got some red on there. We've got the wings on the go. We'll get these picked out next time as well. We've got to start on the bone colours. Yeah, I think he's coming along. And what I'll do is, while I'm off of camera, then what I'll do is I will then carry on. I'll tidy these up a little bit. I'll tidy him up a little bit, and so he looks a bit better. I can see that there's some bits and pieces I need to get in there and tidy them up before finishing. But there we go. That's it. I mean, it's, what time is it now? It's 2 minutes to 8. I've been here for an hour and a half now, and I think we're doing all right. So, Tim, I'll say thank you for watching. I think you're the only one here at the minute, so yeah, you're the only one. So thank you for joining me this week. It has been it's been a pleasure. You'll get to see this guy carrying on same time next week. Feel free, as always, to check out the links and so on and so forth below. Send me a message if you got to ask me anything, suggest anything to me. I'm on all the social media, and you will be seeing a picture of this guy, on Instagram once I've glued on his little arm, and I'll throw a picture up there so you can see a decent picture of how we're doing so far. Alright, so thank you, Tim, for joining me. Yeah, there will be an Instagram pick up, yep, no worries. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Alright, so till then, catch you later.